Hello there everybody, it's HeroicLegend here, and we are back with Friday Magic in the Arena. Now, I'm actually going to leave my chair for a second because I forgot this thing. I will be right back. Nah, I'm just kidding, you're not going to hear me leaving the chair. I'm going to leave the chair, I'm going to pause the video, leave the chair, and then come back with my book. I'm back with my book. Okay, so I have recently, well actually, for those of you who don't know, let's show you. These are all my decks. I've deleted everything else. I have mono red aggro, mono white aggro, and we have a current quest for green and red, blue or green, and kill 15 of your opponent's creatures. And we have to win 5 times. However, I'm going to offer a alternate. Now, if you listen, that noise is coming from the notebook I have with me. Every time I've gone to do what else I do throughout the days, I have taken a notebook with me and been writing if I have idle time. So I was working on some ideas and strategies for decks, which I'm going to take this episode to build with you. Now, this is a deck I will more than likely keep or try my best to keep as soon as I figure out what I want to do. Now, there's of course a Boros deck in here in the listings, but for the most part, we're trying to make a multicolored deck of red, white, and green. Because I have actually made such a deck before, both in life and on here, and it was successful. However, this was dinosaurs, and this was without the help of Guilds of Ravnica, which of course is added in quite a few cards which can help even my dinos. So, one that really seemed to be the full triple color that I wrote down was Convoking Mentors. So, as a brief sum up of that, I think we're going to put in whatever we have, because that's unfortunately what we're stuck with, because I spent all my gems that I got refunded on Guilds of Ravnica cards. So, dumb on me, because I lost out on a lot of artifacts, which if we can just for a second check that out. So, I never had a mocked amber. I no longer have any prying blades, which are good. I'm down to 1 short sword. Let me see. And actually, 2 short swords is all we really need. Don't really care about the Silent Gravestone too much. But I have no Sparring Constructs, no Sorcerer's Wand. Although I could build that very mean deck if I got enough wildcard copies. But no Traveler's Amulet. I don't think I have many anyway. No Black Blades Reforged, which actually doesn't make me sad. I have no Azur's Gateway, which also makes me sad. No Amulet of Safekeeping, which I could care less. No Cobbled Wings, which makes me sad. Dampening Spear. Am I sad about that? I have 1 now. Diamond Mares aren't too bad. I never had a Drowsing Dagger. I did have an elaborate Fire Cannon. I have Max Field Creepers now, but I have no Gleaming Barriers, which actually does make me sad. I have, I think, less copies of my Jousting Lance, no copies of Marauder's Axe. I have no Millstones, which makes me sad. Never had a Pendulum. I had 1 Pillar. I had some Rogue's Gloves, which would be nice. Very nice, actually. Less Shields of the Realm, no Shadow Caravel, but I don't think I ever had that. I don't think I had the Spyglass either. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, but the point is, I'm missing a lot of cards. That's the main thing I wanted to get a card off. I'm missing a lot of cards. I don't have many, and that is very unfortunate. But I do have Chromatic Lanterns, which are very nice. And Desecrated Tombs. That makes me the saddest. Because those are really good, especially for decks I have in mind. And Forbear's Blade. Wait, is it the Forbear's Blade? No, Forbear's Blade wasn't. Here it is. That's the big boy I'm happy to still have. But yes, my main point that I'm trying to get across here is that, well, I could also use these. I am missing a lot of cards that make some of the decks that I wrote down really worthwhile. So here's what's up. I'm going to make a deck about using Convoking Creatures and Mentored Creatures. And of course, the first thing about this is to have mentors that can keep my creatures alive so I can convoke them. That's the big thing, right? It was either this or convoking tokens, and that was just going to be a whole heaping mess. So now what I wrote down is multi-summon, and by that I mean it either spawns a creature when it dies, or when it, while it's up. So we're gonna actually go for three copies of the Mazda, as my buddies call it. I have no copies of Legion's Landing, which is bad. Gonna go for some walls too. Maybe some Novice Knights. That might be nice. Novice Knights. It's a hard maybe. No. If I want walls, I want them to be 4 health or higher. That's the limit I'm giving myself. Trying to think. There's some other good creatures that are decently low cost I can put in. 2. Let's turn that 2 into a 3rd. Focusing on creatures right now, of which I do not have the most. Let's get off that because that's just depressing. Because we want them. We also want creatures that don't have that high of attack power. For quite a few reasons. I will put in 2 of her, because the idea for this also was perhaps putting in some enchantments. Yeah. And I know there's another card in here I need to put in a couple copies of, or at least 2. We have to stick to the theme. I do want to put in the unicorn, because that could really help. But I could, actually. I could sub out something for the unicorn. But that's risky. That's already thinking that could be proving to be very bad for me. Okay. So we got that done. Now let's go for... see what green has to offer us. As much as I would like that, again, not really the best to pick from in terms of creatures that can't be killed by a... Oh, here we go. Here's some. And it even gains indestructible. That'd be nice. We also want creatures with vigilance. Okay, maybe the triple color thing is starting to bite me just a bit. Ugh. Just looking at that counter already is making me nervous, is why. I need some low cost creatures. This is what's up though. So I really should just be doing this. That makes me feel a little bit better. Actually, how many? No, I only have the one. It's not worth. I'm gonna ask myself now. Are you going to? Oh wait, 2 of you, of course. 4 copy. Not 4 copies. 3. 3 copies. And actually, we're just gonna put in 2 of you in place of the Greenwoods. You do his job better, and for either cost, which is starting to be what I'm understanding now, right? Putting in 2 fields. No, I should not. 2 goblin ints, because that's basically a free 2 for 2 if you're counting on convoke. I'll actually put in a 3rd copy there. And my 3 Legion war bosses, and I think that's going to be it for red. That's not part of this. So now I put in the oh, and of course I put in 2 Tharjaks as well. And this is where problems arise. So I'm going to do me the favor now and take out the 4 lands, which gives me a good idea of 11. I have 11 left. is I have 29 creatures. So I don't want as many creatures here, so I'm going to actually drop some numbers down. Martyr can be reduced to 2. And I think we can reduce a Colossus to 2 as well. Yeah. We need maybe a few more mentors as well, so those can be replaced by the mentoring cards. I'm going to put in at least 3 more mentors and then see. Yeah, we're going to actually forsake the wall idea. Dropping that down. I'm going to put in. We actually may not even need the convoke. No, we need the greens for Emara. Mentor. I'm debating if I want to put in like mentors to be beefed up, or if I just want to put in the. Let me search for mentor cards. I think we will put. Oh wait, that's also because I have the restriction on. So putting her in is just good, because that means that you can actually. She solves my problem. She's actually kind of single-handedly solves the problem. And for just a little more safety. So our upswing has changed just a bit. Now we're going to go for a couple of. Now we're going to go for, I believe I wrote down here. Ah, right. We need the lanterns. Question mark. Oh, creatures. So we're going to put in 3 lanterns, because we will need those. I do want to put in a couple copies of Indestructible. Well, you're going to know. Make a stand. At least 3. There might be some Boros cards that I want to put in as well. Whoops. Not getting to that just yet. Okay. So, Integrity might be good. Integrity or Intervention. There's Justice Strike, which can be helpful. There's Response and Resurgence. A Chance for Glory. Deafening. I kind of want to go with Heroic Reinforcements, though. Ah, but I put in only this as a convoking creature. This is the struggle, my people. This is the true struggle. You know what? We're not putting in the cards I originally thought, so I'm taking her out. Swiftblade basically is going to be doing her job for her. Let's see. Gonna be. I know this is a long thing just to do for, you know, this video. We are actually going to put in 2 Fervent Strikes. I'm debating on and just 2 Rage. Yeah. And I'm thinking 2 Titanic Growths as well. Alright, so let's look. We have not too many, because I keep getting to put this in. Martyr of Dusk can be kind of replaced by Emara. And that's a better 2 cost. And if we're not going full enchantments, I think we should actually drop that down. It should, in its place, put in, like, I'm actually going to try this idea that Jamer suggested to me. Where is it? This is going to be what I'm going to use. Actually, no. I'm actually going to do this for my own self. And we're going to look up strictly uncommon and not collected. Grr. Well, let's look this up, shall we? Oh, uncommon is the problem there. I'm looking at it like, what? Why aren't you letting me... Brr. Okay, so... the Gateway Plaza could help. The Gateway Plaza is the only thing that allows us to make that work, so I'm not doing that. I'll make a gate deck at some point that focuses strictly on the glaive. Dang, Vigilance and Menace. That's actually kind of broken. Well, you know, provided you get you get your requirements out. So yeah, using our only 2 here, it'd probably be best for me to focus on equipment I can actually use. I kind of would rather have, in all honesty, I wish Prying Blade should not be a common in my opinion. I guess I'll go with the Sigiled Sword then. And let's just look up either... looking for convoking creatures. Okay. I'm actually maybe thinking we put in... Yeah. So this deck's a little bit split on how it is. But we have some early game, we have some late game. It's very splashed in. The big number here is the 4. Actually, no, our upswing is definitely 2 and 3. Because the rest are just, yeah, the stuff you play after that. Now, here's the big problem. The lands. Chromatic Lantern fixes a couple of those problems, but not enough. So we need to look for our 3 colors in terms of land. Otherwise, we're putting in... Oof. This is the process, people. This is the process. So I know I have enough cliff tops and sacred foundries, so we're gonna... But I actually... And we got 2 temple gardens. Just because the most I want to take if I have these lands is not a lot. That's why I have cliff top. Oh, there's a sun petal too, which also kind of helps. Oh dear, what do I have on my hand right now? Alright, so this is more like our testing deck. And honestly, this is the best I can come up with right now. Really, the main thing about this is we're just trying to get out either a lot of creatures to make World Colossus huge, or get out the Great Impervious or the Impervious Great Worm. Like, these 2 are win cons by themselves. That's a fact, especially with World Boss, because And I am considering this, but it's real risky. I wouldn't want to try that. But this is a deck I would rather make improvements to rather than just scrap wholly. And who knows? It's a very slow-ish deck. But as long as we're not... depending on what we're facing, it may be just what we needed. Again, Swiftblade Vindicator with 2 Titanic Growths in hand is an instant win if they let it get through, because of Double Strike. Or if he just starts growing up because of Legion War Boss or Thajak. And Thajak and Shalai are a combo in itself. You know, if I could get out the Sigiled Sword on Legion, or even if I can get out Alluria and she attacks at the same time as Thajak, there are win cons here. Heavy control, fast aggro. I'm gonna actually do another video after this. It's gonna be a triple upload today because I feel like this was not. You got to see me make the deck. You got to see me really struggle with it too. But this is what I'm overall would say I'm happy with in terms of how I built a deck on here for you. I gave it a lot of thought. I was looking through all the creatures. We currently have a counter of 8, 8, 4, and 15. Right? So obviously our lands reflect that. Mostly, we're looking out for, again, Selesnya and Boros cards, which is why white is so prevalent in terms of the lands here. That's why these cards are all... That's why I took away from that and still left the plane so high. Because it's more likely than not we're going to have a Hazda or one of these combos than we are going to have just pure, you know. So what's our opportune hand here before I finish up? Obviously getting out a Hazda and maybe a Swiftblade or an Amara with 3 lands. Preferably, if I had to say, Plains Clifftop Sun Petal or Plains Sacred Temple. I mean, if I'm with Plains Mountain Forest. That's our greatest mana that we could ever have. Maybe a Make a Stand as well. But mostly Mazda. Maybe Titanic Growth or Fervent Strike. Swiftblade, of course. And maybe even Vernati. Vernati would be nice. And of course, if we can get cards in our hand that provide potential, like, you know, our turn 4 plays, that'd also be nice too. I wouldn't mind dropping down the Sigiled Sword on turn 3 as well. Or Chromatic. But though, that's really the most I can offer to this deck, and I will probably be doing more research on it and how to make it better with the Jamer whenever we get the chance to sit down and overview things. And for those of you who are curious, the Izzet Drakes, it's not exactly a Saffron style deck, but this is probably the closest I'm going to get to Saffron style, and this is also probably the closest I'm going to get to having a deck like this that I really like. So, 4 Ops, 4 Shocks, 3 Field, 4 Lightning, 3 Runaway, 4 Sinister, 2 Risk Factor, and that's how you know it's not a Saffron, 4 Enigma, 2 Ionize, 4 Crackling, 2 Ral, and 2 Niv Mizzet, or the Miz. With a sideboard of 3 Essence, 3 Negate, 2 Fight with Fire, 2 Murmuring Mystic, 2 Radiant Lightning, and 3 Banefire. For just in case. But these transform the deck, these keep the deck as is, and of course we run with 22 mana. Maybe as I become a better player, I can play more risky and with less mana, but at the moment I feel like having 22 is perfect. So, anyway, I would like to thank you all for watching, and do hope you enjoyed this. I guess I'll call it, since it's Friday Magic in the Arena, this is a suiting up episode. And I really do hope you enjoyed it. It took way longer than it normally would have. I'm not just throwing cards in at random. I don't know, maybe for another episode I'll just, if I have to build a deck, I'll just show you how I build my low-cost deck and how I basically mash my face against the keyboard for it. I'm really hoping the testing deck does well in the matches to come. And I hope you'll enjoy that episode when it comes out. But until then, I want to thank you for watching this one and enjoying it. I would normally say show this video to a friend or two. And I want to say that here, but not for the reasons you think. I want to ask you to do this to see if they're better Magic players who can possibly look at this deck, see its potential, and then help me improve it. I'd love to see it. Message me on Tumblr or on Twitter, which I'm using a lot more now, and I'm trying to be more active there. I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments on the deck itself, and maybe, if again, proper criticism here. Don't just yell at me, "Hey, idiot, you did a wrong." That does me a startle, and possibly a frighten. But just, hey, you could have improved with blah 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 here instead. I'm willing to listen to your suggestions. But once again, I want to thank you all for watching. Until next video, I just want to say, laters.